It's been 2 years since we took a look at the fleet of Australian carrier Qantas. A part of the Qantas Group, Qantas the mainline carrier has 125 aircraft in its fleet, at least at the time of this video's production. There are even more aircraft operating under the group's regional brand QantasLink, as well as a handful of cargo aircraft flying with Qantas Freight. In today's video, we'll examine the current fleet of Qantas and QantasLink and what we can expect in the years to come. As per tradition, let's start things off by taking a look at the aircraft types and numbers. So, currently flying under the QantasLink banner are 113 narrow-body aircraft, 3 Airbus A220-300s with more on the way, 3 A319-100s with 4 ex-Spirit Airlines jets on the way, 15 A320-200s, 5 Boeing 717-200s, 3 -8-200s, 16 -8-300s, and 31 -8-400s. There are also 21 Embraer E190s and 16 Fokker 100s. It should be made clear that while these aircraft fly as QantasLink, they are technically operated by a variety of other airlines such as Network Aviation, Alliance Airlines, and more. Nonetheless, all of these smaller aircraft support Qantas regional and domestic operations to connect smaller Australian destinations to larger hubs. And then flying for the mainline fleet are 16 A330-200s and 10 A330-300s, 10 A380s, 75 Boeing 737-800s, and 14 787-9s. In terms of average ages, the A330-300s are the oldest in the mainline fleet at a little over 20 years. The 737-800s are about 16.5 years on average. Over at QantasLink, you might have guessed that the Fokker 100s are the oldest type in the fleet at a little over 31 years average. The -8-200 fleet is also quite old at about 28.5 years. The -8-300s and 717s are close to 22 years old. Overall, every subfleet at QantasLink is quite high in age, with the exception of the nearly new Airbus A220s. And so, on the topic of the Airbus A220-300s coming to QantasLink, a total of 29 have been ordered. The first 20 were ordered at the end of 2021, with the order for an additional 9 finalised in June 2023. On December 15, 2023, Qantas Group took delivery of its very first A220-300, which made it the 20th operator of the type. The first QantasLink A220 features a unique livery based on Aboriginal artwork. The A220 will gradually replace the existing 717 fleet at QantasLink. The modern jet will be able to fly twice as far while also burning less fuel than the old Boeings. Airbus highlights that the A220's range allows it to fly between any city in Australia. These A220s are configured with a total of 137 seats in a 2-class layout, seating 10 passengers in business and 127 in economy. QantasLink will have 7 of the type in service by the middle of 2025, deployed on existing routes such as Melbourne-Hobart, Melbourne-Coffs Harbour, and Melbourne-Launceston. The latter is set to begin on November 12, 2024. Sticking with QantasLink news, at the end of June 2024, Qantas Group announced it was acquiring 14 additional mid-life -8400 aircraft. The carrier's plan is to gradually phase out the 19 smaller -200s and -300s. The first of the additional -400s will join QantasLink by the end of this year, and when all are delivered, the airline will have a single turboprop fleet of 45 -400s. Moving up to the mainline fleet and what we can expect from the airline, Qantas has selected Airbus as the supplier for the single-aisle fleet renewal of the domestic fleet of Boeing 737-800s. 28 new, spacious and modern Airbus A321XLR aircraft have been ordered to replace the 737s. The longest range variant of the Airbus A320 family will be landing in April 2025 and will feature more seating within the business and economy cabins without reducing the space between the seats. To be more specific, it'll be configured in a 2-class layout of 197 seats with 20 in business and 177 in economy. No destinations have been confirmed, but Qantas notes on its website that A321XLRs have sufficient range to fly routes such as Sydney to Hong Kong, Melbourne to Bangkok, Perth to Shanghai, and Brisbane to Tokyo. In late August, Qantas announced its pilots had started simulator training as the airline prepares for the first A321XLR to arrive. The airline says that it's aiming to train more than 240 pilots on the A321XLR over the next 3 years, with training to take place on a new CAE 7000XR series A320 simulator based in the new Sydney Flight Training Centre. The A321XLR pilots will undergo 60 hours of simulator training and return for 4 recurrency training sessions annually, and in addition around 2,000 cabin crew will be progressively trained on the new aircraft type as they enter the Qantas fleet. And then when it comes to the A350s on order, Qantas has committed to 12 A350-1000 ULRs as part of its Project Sunrise ultra-long-haul flight programme. The first of these jets is scheduled to be delivered from mid-2026 according to the Qantas website. Qantas also notes that 12 A350-1000 LRs are expected from its fiscal year 2028 as part of something called Project Fish. While many already know about Qantas's Project Sunrise, this other project might be a little more obscure. Qantas named its international fleet renewal Project Fish in honour of Sir Hudson Fysh, who co-founded the airline and was managing director when it commenced international flying in 1935. To be more specific about fleet renewal, Project Fish is the plan to replace Qantas's A330s and A380s over the next 10-plus years. And so the project, announced in late August 2023, consists of firm orders for 12 A350s and 12 787s. According to the airline, the average age of its A330 fleet will be 21 years at the time the replacement programme starts in 2027. Aircraft that are scheduled to leave the Qantas fleet towards the end of the replacement programme will undergo a cabin refurbishment from 2025, including next-generation seats in the economy cabin. Incoming CEO at the time, Vanessa Hudson, was quoted as saying, "We effectively started Project Fish negotiations off the back of the narrow-body and Sunrise campaigns, and that momentum helped deliver pricing and delivery slots that makes this an excellent opportunity for the group." And so it's a very exciting time for Qantas and QantasLink. The Qantas Group is clearly undergoing an extensive modernisation process and preparing itself to take deliveries of dozens of new aircraft in the coming years. While the carrier will continue to use the Boeing 787-9 far into the future, the airline group is notably welcoming more new aircraft types from Airbus. What do you think of the current and future fleet of Qantas and QantasLink? Are you happy with the aircraft types it's chosen for modernisation? Share your thoughts by leaving a comment. Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.